So we're gonna take a minute, and I'm gonna kind of explain to you why I don't know rice very well, like apparently, and I don't necessarily recommend it. Okay, so here's a few things that can happen. Right, if I have my bones here, right, and something in here gets damaged, right? I sprained something, right? So I got some strainage going on here, and what the body's going to do to kind of stabilize and protect that joint is it's going to swell, right? And that swelling can start to push apart this joint. It can start straining that ligaments tissue that's in there, and it can actually do more damage rather than helping that joint. So it's kind of like the idea of a tourniquet, and one of the reasons why I think we've gone back and forth on whether or not you should use tourniquet. Tourniquets, if you're out hiking in the middle of nowhere and you're going to be a long way away and somebody's going to bleed out before you have a chance to even get to cell phone reception, use the damn tourniquet. It's going to save their life, but it's not going to save their leg, right? So when it comes to the swelling issue, right, in the short run, it's your body protecting itself, and it's trying to basically create a cast on that area so it doesn't get damaged more, right? So why do we start using stuff to reduce the swelling? Well, it's causing pain. Why is it causing pain? Because it's doing more damage to that joint. So why do we use ice? Is because we're trying to reduce that swelling. Why do we use ibuprofen? We reduce that swelling, we reduce the strain that's going to happen on that joint. So in the first day or two, ice might be a very good thing for you to start using. Things like NSAIDs, like ibuprofen and all that will certainly help. But what is ibuprofen, right? Before I get on that, I'll come back to that. But in fact, I'm going to make myself a note so I have a breadcrumb so I can get back to that and I don't lose my train of thought. But ice. What does ice do to your body, right? Why is it an issue when we get all frozen in here? Well, if you have freezing the joint, not only is the moisture in your hand or whatever's frozen, it's going to crystallize and that's going to damage the tissue because you got those sharp crystals in there. But it's going to lower the circulation to that area. And what do we use to heal? Circulation, right? So continuing to use ice for too long is going to limit the amount of circulation that's going to go to that part that needs that circulation to heal. So some studies have started to suggest that using ice for injuries, especially when you have a longer recovery time, that ice is actually going to do more to lengthen how long it's going to take you to heal. So what is the debate between ice and heat? Well, heat increases circulation, but it can also cause you to feel more of a throbbing in that joint. You're probably going to feel a lot more pain in that joint. So where's the balance on that? Well, you can alternate ice and heat, but that's kind of counterproductive, isn't it? Right? You're reducing circulation for a while, you're reducing the swelling, but then you're adding the heat to it to increase circulation, but that's also going to aid in increasing the swelling. So basically, the way that I look at it is that we are going to ice in the first couple days, and when you can kind of see that the swelling's starting to go down a little bit, you're not nearly in as much pain, then I would start switching over to heat because I want that circulation to kind of start working to heal that joint. And in that time, while you are healing and you are laying in bed or whatever, maybe that's a good time to start researching the nature of your injury and understanding what muscles are going to be affected and what joint mechanics are going to be affected. And we're going to go into that a lot more over time, going into that corrective exercise and all that. So, going back to my ibuprofen that I made a little note here, it's a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. Okay? The last two words there are the key. Anti-inflammatory drug. So, inflammation is kind of sort of a hormonal response to injury. And so when you get injured, the inflammation tells your brain and the rest of your body, hey, I need to start repairing this injury site. And so when you start to dampen down that inflammation, which by the way, inflammation is uncomfortable. It's the heat that you feel in the joint. It's it's oftentimes the pain that you feel in the joint, irritation, itching. That's all forms of inflammation that you may be experiencing. And so, it's uncomfortable, But inflammation is part of the healing process, and studies again have shown that using non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to try to reduce swelling and reduce pain will also act to lengthen the healing time. So again, for me, if you are feeling a lot of pain in that joint in the first few days, then go ahead and take an NSAID or aspirin or something like that, so that you can feel. And don't take aspirin if it's an active bleeding, internal bleeding thing like active bruising, because that's going to loosen up your blood. But if you need it for pain management in the beginning, go ahead and use something for pain management. But also keep in mind, a friend of mine a while back had said, when looking at the dosage of ibuprofen on the bottle, he said, well, yeah, this is for if you're like 12. And I'm a bigger person, so therefore I can take more. And the thing is that in my experience, don't do that. Ibuprofen actually destroys your stomach lining and can lead to diseases like acid reflux and gastritis and that type of thing. So we don't want to keep taking ibuprofen if it's going to be damaging other parts of our body, but it's also going to it's also lengthening the heal time for the part that's injured. So use it in the short term, use it in the smallest dose that you can get away with, and then get off of it as soon as possible. So use your best judgment for that, but it is something that you want to not stay on for a long period of time, because again, it's going to lengthen your heal time. Now, when it comes to rest and that type of thing, really, and we've kind of already covered this, like if you're not resting on a injured joint, you are basically doing more to damage the bursa, the synovial sacs, and you're doing more to damage the cartilage in that area. You're doing more to strain the ligaments. If it's a muscle tear, you're going to be doing more to damage that muscle tissue, because as you're moving, that muscle is straining on those adhesion points, which may be trying to form. Maybe it's where the tear is, and you're just making that tear bigger if it hasn't started to adhere. So really, really, really be mindful that you're not doing something that's going to re-injure you or lengthen that injury. So when you get an injury, yes, rest the joint. Yes, you probably want to ice it in the beginning. Yes, use heat down the road. Use anti-inflammatory drugs if you need to, and stay off of it. And once you get, and this is going to go into like what I said in the last video, I think. Yeah, about foam rolling massage, active release therapy, Graston technique, and all that. When it comes to those techniques, they're kind of useless when the injury is new, right? Because you don't have adhesions when the injury is new, right? Your body's trying to stabilize that muscle, and basically that scar tissue is providing stability kind of in that joint that's starting to develop there. It's going to cause problems down the road, but that scar tissue is one of the things that's going to kind of help that joint stay together in the beginning. So you want that muscle to heal to a point where it has some strength, and you don't want to be trying to massage swollen tissue too much. If you want to go in and you want to massage gently, you're probably going to be okay with doing that. That's going to help the initial adhesions heal in a more lengthened position, which is going to help that muscle expand and contract more easily in the future. But you don't want to be doing foam rolling when you just rolled your ankle the day of, right? It's probably going to be 5 to 7 days before you can actually do that safely. So when you have that acute injury, deal with the acute injury, right? Stay off of it. Don't use it. Do what you can to encourage healing, and then once that healing has begun, start going, okay, where are my limits in range of motion, right? So if we look at, in fact, let's go ahead and do that in a separate video.